it's Di here from Di's Den. Oh, that's one not closed. And here I'm going to do take 2 of this card. This card is called a Miura Card. Now, this is the one I've made, but I really went muffed up while I was doing that. So this one sits like this. It's a beautiful card, and I don't know that it's called Miura. It's a Japanese word, so if I'm not saying it right, I'm very sorry to the Japanese people. This is a really lovely card. It's very different. So this one I made for my niece, who's having her first, great niece I should say, who's having her first birthday in December. So I thought I would make a card, and I thought I'd show you how I made it. So let's pop those on one side for a minute, and let me show you. Oops, don't fall on the floor. What I'm going to be using now, it's an old set called Forever and Always, and I'm using the Love and You very much. I'm using these rectangular dies. I'm using the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th and 6th size of those. So, and I'm also using my layering circles, which are up here. And I can't remember what size I'm using of those. I've already cut them out, so let's have a look. 1, 2, 3rd size of the scallop, and 1, 2, 3, 4th size of the plain circle. So that's all the bits we're going to be using. Let's move those out of the way, and that, because I've got everything out. And let me tell you what you need, including these circles. Okay, let me get my paper so I can actually read this stuff. And our main card comprises of 2 pieces. So the first piece is 11 1/4 by 6 inches, and the second piece is 7 1/2 by 6 inches. You will also need, for your panels, which I've already marked mine because it's just easier for me to explain it when marks are on it. And you need 3, and I've got 2 that are for the outside, and this one is for the middle. And they are 5 3/4 by 3 1/2. You will need 2 under panels which measure 3 1/2 by 3 inches. And for my writing panel on the back, I have 2 pieces because I'm using white, and that is 5 3/4 by 3 1/2 and 5 1/2 by 3 1/4. Now I've already done my panel for the front, and I've told you what size things I used. So the tag on the front is 4 inches by 2 1/2 and 3 1/2 by 2 1/2, and I've also cut out my flower and my words. And then for my inner one, it's 3 by 3 and 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 piece of card for both of those. So let's pop all these panels on one side, and we'll keep our 2 pieces of main card because we're going to score both of those pieces first. So we're going to score our main card, part 1, on the long side at 3 3/4. Oops, sorry, put it in the wrong mark. Trust me. Now, because of that, I'm just going to rub over it, and you won't see that because of the way the card is made. So 3 3/4 and 7 1/2. And then at my other piece of card, which is 6 inches by 7 1/2, we're going to score this at 3 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so that's our pieces of card. Now I'm going to keep my scoring tool, and I'm going to keep both my pieces of card. So, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some measuring now. So what I'm going to do is down the middle score line here, I'm going to measure down 2 inches and put a little mark. And then on the other one, turn it around, completely around, and pop this up against it and put another mark. So on my 2 score lines, I have a mark from the top down to the bottom 2 inches, and from the bottom up to the 2 inches. On my other piece of card, I'm going to put a mark on one side at the 2 inch mark, like so. So that's all we're going to do with that piece from now. Bring this piece back in, and I'm going to use my metal ruler, or the itchy eye, excuse me, and my scoring tool, and I'm going to score from the corner here down to that mark that we made. And then I'm going to score from that mark we made up to the score line on the other side here. Okay, and now we're going to turn it around and we're going to do exactly the same again. So from that score, that pencil mark up to the corner of the card, and then from my mark to the score line on the other side here. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. Okie dokie, so let's move that out of the way so I can bring this in. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to, wherever I did with it, going to remove these little marks that we put in the middle of the card here, because we don't need them there anymore. And we're going to fold our card. So we're going to fold our left hand panel as a mountain fold and our right hand panel as a valley fold. So we have a Z fold card. We're then going to fold this score line here on the top. We're going to fold that down like so, so that we get a dip in the middle. So that's going to be a mountain fold with a valley fold in the middle, like so. So I'll just give that a nice burnish on the inside here as well, and along this other one, like so. Okay, with our other score line here down the bottom, we're actually going to do this, I'm going to turn it around because it's just easier, as a valley fold. We're going to valley fold that one up. So it will be the opposite way to the other one. Once I've got that there, I can then give that a nice burnish on all the 4 sides. And now we have our card that looks like this. And as you can see, it just doesn't stand up on its own. And I hate cards that you have to lean up against something. To me, that's not how a card should be. So we're going to bring in our other piece of card. And this piece of card, we've actually put our little mark on this side here. So we're going to then fold this piece of card so that that little mark is on the left hand side. We want that on the left hand side of us. And we're going to bring in our trimmer, and we're going to pop this in the trimmer with that little mark that we made there right in the slot, and bring this around so that the score line in the middle is also lined up with the slot, and we're going to trim that piece off. So we have a piece that looks like this. Now I didn't bring my bin. How silly of me. After I cleaned up and I looked around and was like, ah. Okay, so that's the piece that we're going to put on the back here, like so. And as you can see, it fits in there nicely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in our 2 pieces of panel, which I call under panels on my tutorial. And we're going to pop these down the bottom here like so. Now they're longer than we need, but the whole idea of that is so that they don't seem like they're just fitting. You can get down as low as about 2.5 inches in height if you're getting a bit low on paper and you want to use up some of your scraps of designer series paper. making sure that you've got a nice edge on the bottom and the two sides. And if you've got a directional paper, that you actually put your direction the correct way, which is when you're putting these onto the bottom of this card, that this is the orientation. So pop that one on that side there like so, and that part of the card is done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stick this piece of card to this piece of card. This will give it able to stand up. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to close this card over, and we're going to apply glue to the back of the card here, right the way around the whole back of the card. And then we're going to bring in the back of this card and we're going to line it up so that it butts up along the side edge and the top and the bottom of the card, like so. This will now give you the ability for it to stand up. Now if you wanted to, you could just put one panel there, but it would look funny down in this piece here. So I've actually opted to put two panels. I have seen this card done since I did mine, but I have taken a long time to get there. So from now, what we're going to do is we're going to lay our card flat this way, and just when you pop this one over, give it a bit of a burnish. It will be a little bit tighter, but you want to make sure that it doesn't go over that edge there, that score line there. And we're going to open this one up and we're going to pop our glue between the score line, so the top and the bottom. Like so. So we don't want any up in this piece, in this triangle here. We only want it in this section, in this middle. And we're going to pop that across like so and push it down nice and tight. And we now have our card that will actually stand up. How much better does that look? It's a fairly thick card, but it's great. That's why we're not going to put lots of layers on the rest of the card. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do our panels that go on the front, the inside, like so. So I've actually already marked these. So what I'm going to do is I'll tell you what we do. Well, for the front, you need to start on the right hand side and you need to measure up 3 3/8 of an inch and place a little mark. So let's pop that side. So on the right hand side, I mark at 3 3/8 of an inch, and then draw a line across from there to the corner on the opposite side, and we can then cut that one. With our back panel, making sure we have the orientation of our paper the right way round, we are then going to measure 3 7/8 down from the left hand side, down from the top, down, and then draw our line across to the opposite corner. Now I've already done these so I don't get them all in a muddle. And then for our middle panel, we're going to score, leave a mark on the right hand side from the down to the 3 7/8 of a mark, and put a line across. And then from the other side, we're going to turn it around and we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to mark it down to the 3 7/8 mark and put a line across. So you have two lines across here. Now this piece you're going to have to trim as well because of the way it's done. So let me bring in the trimmer and we will trim these down. So now we have our piece here with our mark, and we're going up to the top corner. But we don't want to get rid of this piece because we need it. And we can now use our pencil, rubber, to remove the pencil mark. And we have one done. We'll do the other one, which goes the opposite way. So it goes from that corner down to that corner. Let me bring that down. And again, we don't want to get rid of this piece because we need it. And we can get rid of our pencil mark there. And that one goes on the opposite side. They look like that. And then our piece for the middle, we need to cut it through there the same. And keep that bit. Turn it and then cut it this way again. So we have a piece that looks like this, and again we want to save both of those pieces. This piece here, we need to just trim about the width of this black piece over the top of our card off, which is about a 1/16 of an inch. So we need to just do that because we need, it will fit into the card a lot better. So we'll pop that on one side and we're keeping those here. We can now glue these pieces to the front of the card, like so. Making sure you get a nice even edge all the way around. And to the back of the card, in there like that one. And before we put this one in here, we're just going to check that the measurements are right and we've got a nice even amount around, and just check that we don't have any pencil marks. If it's right, we can then just pop that one into the middle there like so. I've got glue sticking really badly to my... Okay, so we've now got that piece in the middle like so. Now we have all our pieces here. Now these are going to go down here and up here, and then this one's going to go here and this one's going to go here, but they're all too long as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm just dropping everything on the floor now. We're going to bring the trimmer back in again, and we're going to pop these in, and we're just going to cut the 1/8 mark of an inch mark along this long flat side on all 4 of them. So let's put them all over here so we don't get them mixed up, because we don't want to cut them twice. Right, 1/8 of an inch off that side. With this one you need to turn it over so that you get the flat edge at the top, but it's the same thing, and the same with this one. So, and we have them all cut now. Let's move those bits out of the way and pop them back over here. And now we can pop these back in here like so. So we know where they go. With this one you just need to make sure that you get your, if you've got a directional pattern, you get the right one in the right place, like I just have. Same with this one. That one goes up there and that one comes down here. That's better. So we'll pop these into these spaces. So, up in this top one here, and then the last one on this side of here. And our card is starting to come together really nicely. I'm just going to give that another burnish along that line. And our card is looking absolutely gorgeous. I love these colours together. They absolutely go together beautifully. Okay, this is our writing panel for the back. So we're going to pop this first piece on so that it's done. I don't know why I turned that over. It doesn't really matter. But there you go. I just did. Oops, I didn't put that on very straight, did I? Quick, quick, quick flick. And now we can stamp the back of our card. Now I've got a piece of scrap paper here again, and I'm going to just put here, and I'm going to stamp my flower down in the bottom corner here and up in the top corner here in the memento, and then I'm going to stamp if I can open it in Rococo Rose, because that's the colour I'm using, even though it's retired, but it's just a beautiful colour. Use so very much across the middle. I'm not sure what I'm going to put on the other one. Actually, I'm going to put a flower, I'm going to stamp a memento flower on this one as well. This circle. And then I have my, let's pop these on here. I have my Rococo Rose blends. I've got the light one here. These are all retired, unfortunately, but I just don't see the point in not using them just because they're retired. If I like the colour, I'm going to use it. I paid for it. I'm using it. And I forgot to bring my yellow over, so I'll just quickly run over when I finish colouring in the Rococo Rose and get my yellow, which will be actually Mango Melody for the centre of the flower. Okay, that's the light. So with the dark, I just go over where the black bits are, and it just gives it a bit more depth to the flower. And I'll do the same on these ones. And it just makes it look more finished to me, and looks more realistic than just all one colour. So I'll just go and get my Mango Melody. Oops, I walked into the chair. That was a bit silly, wasn't it? So I've got my Mango Melody here just to pop into the middle of the flowers, like so. So let's glue this onto the back of the card. And that's our writing panel on the back of the card done. And that looks just really gorgeous. For our middle bit, I'm going to glue this circle to the other circle. And then I'm going to pop this into the middle here. And then for the front of my card, I have two rectangles that I'm going to glue together. And then I'm going to glue those to the front of the card flat as well. I'll leave that flat for a moment because it just makes it easier. And then using my dimensions, I have the love that I have actually cut out from the set using the dies. And then I'm going to pop that at the bottom here. And my flower above it. Oops, I didn't take the backing off that one. Like so. And then I've got these, what do you call them, pearls. They're not Stampin' Up ones either, but again they are just beautiful and they're nice and big. I wanted something big. So I'm going to pop the pin in my glue and using the dark Rococo Rose. Which end did I cut? Do you all know? There's three. Colour these into the Rococo Rose. That's better. Give those a few seconds to dry, so let's move this piece of scrap out of the way. And then we can pop these onto the front of the card. I didn't cut those ones. Which ones did I cut? You fibbed to me, you did, all of you. Never mind. So let's see, one there. Oops. One here. And the last one, if I can get him off. Get on the thing down here. So what do you think? Oh, I'm really happy with that. I love the colours. The colours just go really sparkling out at me. So it says, love you so very much. What a lovely card. So I hope you've enjoyed today's card. If you would like the written tutorial for this card, please head over to Di's Den for stamping, crafting and tutorials. And there you will find the written tutorial for this card and all my other projects. I do write them in inches as well, and I have centimetres on the sheets, so it doesn't matter if you prefer to work in centimetres or inches. Both are there. Let me close that ink pad. There we go. And if you would like more information about Stampin' Up products and you live in Australia, please give me a call, email or PM, and I can help you with an order or with information. If you live overseas and you want to know more about it, you can always do the same, and I will actually put you onto somebody locally that can help you. So I hope that has been a great project for you, and I hope you will give it a go, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.